Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Judy and I love history, travel, and getting to know how people live. When I travel, I generally stay in apartment hotels and I do a fair amount of cooking. Although dining out gets expensive and fattening, I'm not just being cheap. Eating in restaurants gets old fast, especially when you're traveling solo, as I generally do. Since I generally stay in hotels quite close to the main train station, it means I'm normally located somewhere in or quite close to the city center. There are always a lot of places to shop for groceries, ranging from enormous modern supermarkets, places with names that we recognize like Aldi or Carrefour, but also many much smaller establishments, often specializing in a single product like produce or fish or meat or dry goods, along with places that will sell you oceans of local wine. There are also street markets. They're the most interesting of them all. Let's take a look at 3 street markets and what I was able to make out of them today on the Armchair Traveler. The Palermo market, which is located on the south side of the city, is probably the most famous one in Palermo. It's located in a relatively poor neighborhood, and many of the buildings nearby look quite run down. However, it boasts a wide variety of products, and like all street markets, is quite safe, at least during daylight hours, although you do need to be cautious about your belongings, There is absolutely no reason to think that this is something ginned up just for the tourists. This is clearly a genuine part of life in Palermo. Some of the stalls do a land office business in grab and go. It might not be what you'd get at home, but they wouldn't offer it if it didn't sell. La Vucceria market was quite close to my hotel, although I have to admit I was warned off from it by the lady at the front desk and by my guidebook. The word translates as voices or hubbub. I walked through it during daylight hours, but I didn't really shop there. I wasn't ready and I didn't have my shopping bag. I do remember this is the smallest and quietest of the 3 markets I visited in the city, at least during daylight hours. It's apparently been in this location, close to San Domenico Church, forever. When I visited, there was a noticeable lack of little old ladies with shopping bags and wagons. There was a group of men at the entrance playing cards and smoking cigarettes. The market array of fruits and vegetables, as well as what seemed like a large amount of tables selling housewares, things like dishes and pots. The neighborhood is reasonably close to the main train station and is what I'd call an improving area. I think the improvements mean that the market is losing its place. There are a lot of newer options in the neighborhood, all within walking distance. Perhaps it's being outcompeted, at least for food. I was told that after dark, this is actually a happening place, at least for young people, but I'm not young and I generally don't go out much after dark, especially by myself, so I can't vouch for that personally. I'm not especially high church about making all my own food. I'm more than willing to buy a rotisserie chicken or microwave when I can find it. I have only once in the past 15 years encountered an apartment hotel that didn't have a microwave. However, if you're going to cook, you're going to have to shop for food. I passed through this market on the way to the Norman Palace and came back afterwards to buy some fresh food for my supper. I didn't find it particularly alluring, although my guidebook said I should. It's apparently been here for a very long time. Il Capo, as it's called, is an Arab heritage street market and has not just the normal fruits, vegetables, meats, and fish, but all kinds of junk, some of it hawked by quite aggressive vendors. It reminded me just a little, and unpleasantly, I have to add, of similar markets I saw in the south of France. Still, I found that if you smile when you point and say please and thank you in the local language, you'll get along just fine. I picked up some supplies here and headed back to my apartment. I remember being fairly tired that day, and like you, I was ready to kick back, fix some supper, and relax. The Palazzo Gallo is a genuinely nice apartment hotel and quite modern, only a mile or so from the train station. The hardest part of the visit was getting out of the train station and past a phalanx of extremely aggressive English, French, and German-speaking taxi drivers. I'm pretty sure when they see me, they always know I'm not Italian. I used to be almost 5'10" and blonde, but after that they never seemed to be 100% sure of just exactly what I am. When I got to the hotel, I rang the bell for admittance. The desk clerk let me in, helped me with my suitcase. Someone please remind me to never take a full-size suitcase to Europe again, ever, and showed me to the room. It was a 2-story affair, quite modern, with striking architecture. The bedroom, bathroom, and the dressing room were all upstairs. There was a living room, dining area, kitchen, and a second bedroom downstairs. The staff was friendly and gave me a map to the city. It was simply great. I have to say the most startling feature of this room was the floor in the upstairs bedroom. As you can see in the photo on the top left, it's made of reinforced glass. I know it was supported and probably extra strong, but it did make me think twice. The apartment appeared to have been installed or inserted into a previously gutted building. Notice the windows in the photo on the lower left. That's the bathroom, and the windows are at foot level. The galley-style kitchen had everything I needed to live the good life, except of course for a corkscrew. Fortunately, I always travel with my own. There was a gas cooktop and oven. The cooktop at least was self-igniting. I admit I didn't try the oven. There was a mini fridge, enough counter space, a hood over the range that actually worked quite well but made quite a racket, even a microwave. There were also enough dishes, cutlery, and glasses for at least 2 people for 2 meals, maybe more. You can see in the right-hand side of the photo on the right, toward the edge of the cabinet, I added a bottle of Italian red wine, most likely Nero d'Avola since it's made here in Sicily. I turned out a piece of beef with pasta and tomato sauce, heavy on the onions and zucchini. Dessert was a cassatella di Sant'Agata, or St. Agus's breast. It's a local delicacy. Any adventure, even 50 feet outside of your own home, is about as safe or as dangerous as you choose to make it. All 3 Palermo markets are busy places. People are often crowded quite close together, jostling each other to talk to the merchants, make purchases, and get out of the way of passing mopeds. Sometimes the people who are jostling you could be pickpockets. That all leads to a lot of contact and the possibility for valuables and cash to go missing in a flash. Be aware of yourself, of your camera, your phone, your money as you walk in the markets. Don't set anything down or take more money than you actually need. Markets are not dangerous places, but there may be people waiting to separate you from your belongings if you're not careful. Thank you for joining me to visit 3 street markets here in Palermo and to see what I managed to turn out from them. Come back next time for a new adventure here on The Armchair Traveler.